everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showcasing my top 5 perfumes for the month of March 2019. So let's begin straight away with something you probably have guessed if you follow me on social media. It is Opium, the pure perfume. Now another thing you're going to notice this month, well, you're going to notice as we go along in the selection, it's a very special selection and it's a very special month, and I'm not politicizing these month's perfumes, but I'm kind of making a statement, and I'm going to use really only these concentrations this month because, because you'll notice as we go along. So Opium, I actually begin the day with this one. It's much lighter than the Eau de Toilette or the Eau de Parfum. The concentration is very, very delicate. It's very, very sophisticated. It's very, very elegant. Not huge longevity, stays quite close to the skin, but it's just so, it's divine. The floral, the carnation, the cloves in there, the incensey, kind of dusty, dry down is just so perfect, but it never turns sweet. It always stays, I don't know, it stays very warm without being ever sweet. It's just so, and slightly kind of like balmy, like a balsamy touch to it, which makes it so refreshing and endearing in the morning when you wake up, but it also makes it extremely sensual at night. So this is the pure perfume of Opium. And I have, because a lot of you have been asking me, this is a new batch. This is the latest batch produced. This is not a vintage bottle. A lot of you have been asking me where to get it. This one is from Europe. In the States, they don't sell them anymore. However, I have asked my YSL associate on one of the YSL counters. They did tell me that the Opium Pure Perfume is out of production again, so they're only selling leftover stock because, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this month, because there is no demand for pure perfumes anymore. And this is a tragedy in my opinion. We're going to get more into detail about why that's a tragedy going further on with the selection. Now, March is still a month where there can be cold moments, there can be very warm moments. We could go from rain to sun in a split second, and then even snow in some cases. So a fragrance that I find very fitting for that type of weather is number 22 by Chanel, the pure perfume. This is a 15 milliliter also, the Opium is a 15 ml splash bottle. This is a 15 ml splash bottle as well. I think this one is sealed tight enough that I can actually lay it down like that without it spilling. Extremely warm, this one, but also cooling. It has that sophisticated classic Chanel detachment, meaning it has an effortless coolness about it, like every Chanel perfume that no other fragrance can come close to, and that's something typical to Chanel. Number 22 has it as well, but there's a warmth within it, and here we have that game of warmth again that I mentioned also in Opium, which we're going to see as we go along in this roller coaster ride. It's a special type of warmth that stays close to the skin that only pure perfume extracts can deliver. And it's something you can only experience if you use pure perfumes for an extended period of time. You will realize, you will unlock in your nose that something, that key to sense out, to smell out that particular type of sophisticated warmth that only pure perfumes have. So this one actually is also fine to use early in the morning, throughout the entire day, even in the evening. That's another one of those magical things of pure perfumes. They're just that flexible if you know how to dose them right. They can be used from the morning all the way into the night and through the night as well. Moving on, if I want to have a sophisticated moment, I don't know, either meeting friends just for pleasure or also for business, what really gives me a good boost is the good old Chanel number 5. This is the spray version. It's also one of the rarest kind of spray pure perfume options that we have to purchase nowadays, because all the other brands, perfume brands out there, are not only discontinuing, well, first of all, they've discontinued, basically almost all of them have discontinued the spray versions of their pure perfumes. But most of the brands are also discontinuing in general their pure perfumes, which is a tragedy in my opinion, because pure perfumes are the most magical part of perfumery. And either because they're not selling that much, or because they're not promoted as much, for whatever reason, or because people are thinking that they're too expensive. But that again could be also the fault of the brands that are upping the prices constantly. So these pure perfumes have reached prices that are just insane. We're going to get to that as well. This is also one of the reasons why they're discontinuing a lot of these products. And this is one of those rare ones left that we still have as kind of a refillable spray option. This is a 7.5 ml. You know, Chanel used to produce 15 milliliter spray perfumes as well. They have discontinued them. So now you only get 7.5 ml. Not only did they discontinue their 15 ml spray versions of their perfumes, of their pure perfumes, but Chanel has also discontinued basically all of the spray perfumes except for Chanel No. 5 and Coco Mademoiselle, the pure perfume. Now, in spray form. From time to time, I do still see Allure, the pure perfume, in spray, but I think that's just leftover stock. They have taken away, for most perfumeries, Chanel has kind of reordered back all of their pure perfumes in spray form. Yes, they also do that. They just kind of demand their stock back and then it's gone forever. Now the problem, okay, so first positive thing about No. 5, as I mentioned before, I do use it a lot in moments of just needing to feel more self-confident. It just makes you feel good. It's a happy scent that gives you a lot of energy. It's very energetic, but being energetic, be warned, it has a certain acidity to it, which it needs to be energetic. That acidity, especially in the opening notes, combined with the aldehydes, can put you off in the beginning, but hold through, you know, especially with pure perfumes. Give it that 1 hour time. After 1 hour has passed, this one will just blend in with your skin. It's just going to melt into it and you're going to have a warmth. Again, here we have that special warmth that only pure perfumes have. You're going to have a warmth that no other concentration of No. 5 delivers. Even though it stays very close to the skin, it will be soft, smooth, no sharp corners or edges. It will blend in with your own chemistry and you're just going to keep on sniffing your wrist or wherever you put it on constantly because it's just that addictive. And it also goes through the entire day. You could play with No. 5 from the morning all the way into the deepest of nights. Or like Marilyn Monroe used to say, she would just put a couple of drops of Chanel No. 5 to go to bed. The rest is all naked skin. Now this one, the next one, not really for the morning. This one, because it's just that intense and opulent. Here we have the pure perfume, also discontinued. This one is discontinued. The rare pure perfume of Vivienne Westwood's Boudoir. You could still find the eau de parfum of Boudoir, but the pure perfume, unfortunately, produced by Lancaster. Lancaster does not produce Boudoir anymore. The Coty took over, but now even Coty stopped producing. So at the moment, Vivienne Westwood is not producing Boudoir at all because they're looking for the proper fragrance producer distributor. So what we can say about Boudoir, the pure perfume, now this one has changed color. That is normal because there are quite a few natural ingredients in this perfume, so that it starts off very kind of rosy pink, like a rosy pale rose color, and then it turns into this. After so many years, it's quite normal. Still, the smell is incredible. You have that dirtiness of the marigold that I mention whenever I talk about the eau de parfum of Boudoir. You have that kind of dirty sexual vibe in the pure perfume as well, except, and here we go again, this one is warmer. And that warmth, it's just so endearing, so beautiful, because it stays close to the skin and because whoever is, either you use it to enjoy it for yourself or to share it with somebody who you wish to be intimate with, and then they're very lucky because they get to experience something extremely pleasant. This particular type of warmth, it's an intimate experience that you share with your fragrance, and it really only happens to this degree with the pure perfumes. Let's go back quickly to Opium. You know, 1977, pre-release in France, but 1978 is actually the release date of opium worldwide. It was the first perfume that had a marketing strategy built around it being advertised as a fragrance to use for yourself. Until that moment, all advertisements and ad campaigns for pure perfumes were targeted towards wearing a fragrance in order to be discovered by somebody else, in order to be noticed by somebody else, in order to be appreciated or flirted by somebody else. Opium came on the market with an ad campaign where Jerry Hall, the first model that advertised opium, was laying on this kind of very oriental type of, almost boudoir type of room on a lot of pillows and cushions, and she's dressed, I mean, in Yves Saint Laurent, obviously, but inspired by the Orient clothes and a lot of silks and a lot of velvets, and she's just in this weird hazy gaze. She's not looking into the camera, she's looking away from the camera. She's laying on this bed and she's completely kind of high on the fumes of this opium, and she's alone in this room, and she does not care about us as the viewer that's looking at her almost in a voyeur type of state. She does not notice us at all, and she does not care for us. She is completely entranced and in love with her opium and herself. She is kind of, you know, just involved with herself. The pleasure of wearing a fragrance for one's own self, that is what pure perfumes, or the perfumery, or the art of perfumery within the pure perfumes, the pure extracts, the pure concentrations really delivers. And this is something, it's an art that is being lost, and it's an art that is, it's just, once we lose it, we're not going to get it back because there won't be a market for it. People are not demanding it. I don't think that pure perfumes are going to make a huge comeback like vinyls, you know, like LPs made, you know. There was a time when CDs were so huge. Now CDs are dying out, but vinyls were completely gone. And then there was a comeback of the vinyl because there's this kind of materialistic desire to own something that big, and the artwork is much more beautiful on bigger covers than just on CDs or just digital nowadays when you're downloading an album. With pure perfume, you get much more than that. You get another dream. You get another experience with yourself, and you kind of get to unlock certain memory patterns within your own brain and within your own body and within your own soul that just all the other concentrations don't deliver. I'm not saying eau de toilettes and eau de parfums aren't bad, or eau de colognes are bad. They're not bad. They're all good and fine. But pure perfume, it really has a special magic to top it all off. Well, we're missing number 5. The fifth one, and the last one, I actually even have, this is extremely rare. It had a very short-lived life. It was only produced 1986 and 1987 and then discontinued. It is the pure perfume of Poison by Christian Dior. Now, I'm going to show you how the bottles look like. This is the first edition from 1986. You see, it's not the Esprit de Parfum. It is the Parfum. 7.5 ml. Here you have it. So this was produced the year of release of Poison, 1986. It says Poison here. Here we have that kind of, you know, plum-colored glass, twisted, twirled. This is a design that they only use for the pure perfume, and then they stopped producing this one. The next year they offered us a different design of the pure perfume in a slightly bigger box, also 7.5 ml spray, except we have plastic on the bottom, and we have all of our Christian Dior insignia and information here. You can see the vintage 30, the address, the 30 Avenue Hoche instead of 33, which we have today. And this one is 1987, a year after the release. And here we already have, some of you who do collect Poison and vintage Poison will recognize this shape of bottle because the Esprit de Parfum also used the 10 milliliter, however, this is a 7.5 ml. The 10 milliliter spray version used to come in a same shape, this hexagonal shape, except it had a golden or a black stopper. And I do have it in my collection as well, I just don't remember. I even have the Cologne Light, which has kind of a pale gold top stopper. The Esprit de Parfum has a black one. The pure perfume had this moiré print all throughout the hexagonal bottle. Here we have the bottom. So now this is your batch code, by the way. Very vintage. 0352U. Poison Parfum Natural Spray. There you have it. Very, very rare. As I said, produced only 1 year. This is incredible. I mean, I still, you know, love my eau de toilette of Poison. I still think it's kind of the most usable of all the concentrations, but the pure perfume, I mean, it's a mythological creature. A lot of people don't even believe that it exists, but I did manage in, you know, my many years as a perfume hunter, I did manage to hunt 2 down, which was a huge ordeal already, but they do exist and they are very potent and powerful. They have nothing in common with today's limited edition extract of the perfume that you can get on the Christian Dior website. That's a François Demachy reformulation, something that he did. It's okay, and it's really also beautiful, but it has nothing to do with the parfum. Now, this is the 5th one because it is only for the night, for the deepest of nights. The tuberose in here mixed with the vanilla, it's just insane. Like you could go with, you know, with the marigold, with the slight dirty ratchetness of the marigold just before going on to Poison, and then slip into Poison and going into that all-nighter tuberose that's just pure sexual tension. Now this brings me to a point where we're at the end of our video, but one thing I still have to note about Chanel upping their prices. This is also one of the reasons why I dedicate this whole month, exceptionally, exclusively, this is a one-time thing, I'm dedicating the entire month just to pure parfum concentrations. I've also noticed that Chanel has just upped, and whoever follows me on Instagram, Super Dacob all spelled together, Chanel has just upped the prices of their Les Exclusives pure perfumes in France from 190 euro to 230 euro. That's a huge markup. And for the first time ever in the history of Chanel perfumes, they have differentiated the pricing between their Les Exclusives pure perfumes and their regular kind of mass release pure perfumes. What does this mean? That 15 milliliter number 22, which is, for example, a Les Exclusives pure perfume, 15 ml is 230 euro in France, and around 190 euro is the price you will be, or 192 to 95 is the price you will be paying for 15 ml of Chanel No. 5, the pure perfume. Now, this is something that they have already been doing with their other concentrations. You know, their Les Exclusives Eau de Parfums cost more than their mass-released to the general public Eau de Parfums. So, for example, the same amount of liquid, of perfume that you would get, you know, from Cuir de Russie Eau de Parfum is going to cost you almost double compared to the same amount of No. 5 Eau de Parfum. And this had a sort of a justification. Yes, they want to be niche, and yes, they want it to be more exclusive, but also because they're kind of other concentration, everything that is mass released and not pure parfum does not use ingredients grown in Grasse. They import them from other places, but they prided themselves, in particular with Chanel No. 5, saying that all the May rose used inside Chanel No. 5 pure parfum concentration, all of those roses were grown in Grasse. Same applies to their Les Exclusives fragrances. They tell us that they use whatever they can that's grown in Grasse, and then they import extremely, you know, more expensive materials, ingredients that they need from the rest of the world that do not grow in France. And they used to do the same for their pure perfumes like Coco Mademoiselle pure perfume, Coco Noir pure perfume, Allure pure perfume, and Chanel No. 5 pure perfume. So what does this mean? This means that now with the price differentiation, they're telling us that actually their Chanel No. 5 pure perfume is worth less than their Les Exclusives No. 22 pure perfume. And this is, in my personal modest opinion, a huge faux pas from Chanel's end, because they are diminishing the credibility of their pure perfumes. Their pure perfumes were special. They're in a different league. They're in a league of their own, completely different league from the eau de parfums and the eau de toilettes and the eau de colognes. It's a totally different story. We can't compare it. So I understand why a price difference between an eau de parfum mass release from Chanel and an eau de parfum Les Exclusives from Chanel. This I understand. But I do not tolerate and accept the differentiation in price between the pure perfumes of their entire range, be it Les Exclusives or mass release, just because they diminish their own value. Now, I have been thinking, why now? In the entire history of Chanel of Chanel perfumes, why do they decide now to make a difference between their pure perfumes? And this is, mind you, this is basically the only markup that they've had since Karl Lagerfeld's passing. And yes, a lot of you, and I posted this to my Instagram, a lot of you have been telling me, oh, Dacob, you know, it's the greed, it's the greed. I'm thinking if it were only just that, because I'm fearing something bigger happening here. As I've mentioned at the beginning of this video, you know, Chanel has been discontinuing all of their sizes and formats of their pure perfumes, reducing them to a minimal amount of pure perfumes left in just, let's say, 1 or 2 sizes, splash, with exception of Coco Mademoiselle number 5 and maybe Allure. I'm fearing that they are, with this move, kind of getting one step closer to basically discontinuing the pure perfumes altogether. They might, you know, still keep Chanel number 5, the pure perfume, and a couple of others, but we're heading towards a really bad period for perfume history, in my opinion, because if they discontinue their pure perfumes, because now they've outpriced themselves, because, I mean, let's not beat around the bush with this stuff. You know, the pure perfume of the Les Exclusives range, they didn't really sell that much. We're not talking about this hysterical rush to get these perfumes so that Chanel has to up the price for them. They don't. And mind you, they have been upping their prices consistently. The first one that I purchased in pure perfume form of the Les Exclusives range was Cuir de Russie back in around 2004-05. I paid 135 euro. Now it's double the price. Now it's 230. So, okay, fine. Many years have passed. And there are normal price increases as well happening. But still, right now, to make another price increase when these pure perfumes aren't really even selling that much, it just makes no sense to me, other than kind of pushing their pure perfumes even closer to a point where sales will diminish even more, and then they're going to kind of have a justification as to why discontinue them, because they weren't selling. Well, I think if you kind of lower the prices a little bit, they will sell more. And also if you have some sort of strategy to sell them, because mind you, you know, you could say, yeah, but Chanel wants to play it niche with their Les Exclusives pure perfumes. They don't want to advertise for them. Yeah, they're just saving money by not advertising them. They could advertise other pure perfumes, you know, from the mass release, and they could kind of bring back the sprays and then bring it back into their marketing and kind of show that it's a cultural thing also to use these smaller sprayers in your purse, and having this highest form of perfume artistry always with you at any time of the day or night. But no, they don't. All of them avoid doing that. Everything is about fast consumerism. Everything is about these bland, watered down concentrations that just really, we don't really care for, or we have to use liters of in order to kind of get even close to what we remember were these perfumes in the past. This is for perfumes that have already existed for many decades. All of the new releases, well, we've seen most of the new releases are all just too bland to even talk about. It's very rare to find a new release nowadays of a fragrance, I'm not talking niche, regular mass releases that you kind of really care for. Very rare. So this is the reason, or one of the many reasons behind me picking 5 pure perfumes. Exceptionally, exclusively for the month of March, I will be using only pure perfumes. I really want to dig into consuming that artistry, the highest form of art in perfumery, the entire month. And I want to play with them. I want to figure out how they really work day and night. And the saddest thing of all of this is that, well, this one doesn't exist anymore. This one, again, has been discontinued. And these two are also gone. So as you can see, we're basically scratching the bottom of the barrel here, because, you know, you can't even find the spray anymore. You can only get it online and in Chanel boutiques, and most perfumeries don't even sell the spray anymore. Usually, I travel a lot. Every time I was at a duty-free shop, I would see this one. This one is gone from duty-free shops. And this one, obviously, you can't get anywhere else but at, you know, authorized Chanel Les Exclusives counters. So this is basically how our future looks like. Quite bland, isn't it? Without perfumes. Without pure perfumes, that is to say, because everything began with the essence of a perfume. And then from that essence, you trickle it down, and then you create your other concentrations that are watered down all the way up to the eau de colognes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hold on a minute. there's 1/6 perfume, but the 6th perfume, which is a very special one, is only available on my Patreon profile. So for those of you who are my patrons, thank you so much for supporting my channel, The Fashion Bunker, over there. Head on over there and check out the 6th perfume, or the 6th pure perfume for the month of March, plus a little bit more extras. Let's hope that our future isn't this empty. In case it is, we still have to find a way to never give up on love. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Don't forget to follow me on, well, Super Dacob all spelled together, here on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook, and also on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Never give up on love. Bye.